The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the usual kind of silence, where city noise fades and leaves a soft emptiness, but the heavy, almost conscious silence of expectation. My phone vibrated, a message without a sender, no number, just a line that read, "We know where you are. Be ready. EM." At first, I laughed. Elon Musk, finding me. The idea was absurd, almost comical. Yet, the hairs on the back of my neck rose as an instinct told me it was no joke. The message had a precision, a confidence that hinted at immense resources behind it. It wasn't just a threat, it was a summons. By nightfall, the city felt different. The streetlights glowed with an unnatural clarity. And every passing car seemed to hum with purpose, as if they were watching me, counting me. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a marketing stunt, maybe a hacker playing games, but deep down, the feeling wouldn't leave. Someone was coming for me. The first sign of arrival came as a shadow against the apartment window. At first, I thought it was a trick of my mind. The city cast strange angles of light at night, especially in my high-rise. But then a deep, resonant voice echoed from the hallway. "Do not be afraid. I am here with an offer you cannot refuse." I froze, my pulse spiking. There he was, Elon Musk, standing taller than I remembered from photos, but with an intensity that no photograph could convey. His eyes, sharp, calculating, yet strangely warm, pierced through the dim light of my living room. There was no security detail, no entourage, just him. A man alone, but not just any man, a force capable of bending industries, launching rockets, shaping the future itself. "You are wondering how I found you," he said, almost reading my thoughts. I nodded, speechless. "It doesn't matter. What matters is what I am offering you." And then he told me, the offer was not just money, not just fame, it was something far larger, far stranger. He spoke of a project hidden from the public, one that could redefine reality itself. Of a technology that would allow humans to interact with dimensions of thought, perception, and time in ways previously considered impossible. And he wanted me to be part of it. Not as a financier, not as a technician, but as a living participant, a witness, and ultimately, a pioneer. I listened, disbelief warring with curiosity. Every word he spoke was deliberate, precise, yet imbued with an almost lyrical urgency. He knew me, my fears, my strengths, my weaknesses, and yet, he invited me into a realm I had only glimpsed in dreams, science fiction, and the edges of my imagination. But why me? I managed to whisper, my voice trembling, that he smiled, a quick, calculating smile. Because some things cannot be predicted. Some choices require someone unbound by expectation. Someone who sees the unseen. You are that person. Then he handed me a small device, no larger than a credit card. This will guide you, he said. Follow it. Everything else will follow you. As he left, the city seemed to exhale, releasing the tension that had gripped me since the first message. Yet the device pulsed gently in my hand, a heartbeat of its own, reminding me that nothing would ever be the same again. The night was no longer just night. It was a doorway that I looked out over the city, and for the first time, I understood that this was not just a meeting. It was the beginning of an entirely new reality, and Elon Musk had chosen me to step through its threshold. The device pulsed in my palm, slow, steady, alive. Not a light, not a vibration, but something deeper. It felt as if the beat synchronized with my own heartbeat, rewriting it, syncing it to another rhythm that wasn't human. The moment I held it too long, the walls around me seemed to shimmer, pixels of reality flexing, bending. On its surface, no buttons, no ports, no seams. Just a metallic black sheen that reflected my face in strange distortions, as though it saw more of me than my reflection ever had. Then, without a sound, words appeared on the surface: begin. I hesitated, the air in my apartment thickened, humming with invisible static. I touched the word, and the world around me vanished. No explosion, no light. One moment I stood in my living room, the next, the floor beneath me dissolved into an endless grid of pale light. The walls were gone. The sky was gone. I floated in a void that pulsed faintly with patterns, mathematical, rhythmic, purposeful. Elon, I whispered, my voice trembling, what did you do? A voice, not from around me but within me, answered. This is not simulation. This is foundation. And then, out of the glowing distance, he appeared again, Elon Musk, but not quite. His presence was sharper, more defined, as if his very atoms had been optimized. He walked without sound, his steps displacing light instead of air. Welcome, he said. You've entered the testing field. This is what we call layer 0. Layer of what? I asked and he smiled faintly. Of everything. He gestured, and the light grid rippled. In an instant, shapes formed, floating cities, spirals of energy, neural lattices spinning like galaxies. I felt dizzy. This, he continued, is the prototype of a network beyond the internet, beyond Neuralink. It's consciousness architecture. Not artificial intelligence, artificial existence. His eyes glinted. And you, my friend, are its first human variable. I tried to comprehend his words, but the space around me reacted to thought itself. The more I tried to make sense of it, the more it changed. The grid became waves, the waves became corridors. The corridors became mirrors. Each reflected a different version of me, older, younger, braver, broken, brilliant, monstrous. Why me? I asked again, almost pleading. Because you doubt, Elon said softly. Faithful people build machines. Doubters build meaning. He approached me, holding out his hand. I need someone who can think beyond reason. Someone who will not collapse under infinite perspective. Humanity's future depends on it. I wanted to step back, but there was nowhere to step. Space itself waited for my choice. What happens if I refuse? I asked that. He looked at me for a long moment, his face unreadable. Then, slowly, he said, then we start again, and you won't remember any of this. You'll wake up tomorrow and think it was a dream. But if you accept, you will never dream again. The words cut through me like ice. Never dream again. The silence that followed was infinite. The grid shimmered, awaiting my decision. Somewhere in the distance, I saw entire universes blinking in and out of existence like candle flames. That I looked down at the device in my hand. The surface had changed again. Now, 3 words glowed faintly, yes and oh, remember. I didn't understand the third option, but somehow, it felt heavier than the others. That I took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the device merging with my heart. Then, slowly, deliberately, I reached out and touched. I touched the device. My finger hovered over yes, feeling the pulse of possibility surge through me. The moment I made contact, the void around me shuddered like glass under pressure. Light fractured into millions of shards, spinning and weaving around my body, each fragment showing a different outcome, a different life, a different universe. Elon, I whispered, my voice trembling, what is this? He stepped closer, eyes bright with intensity. This is the threshold. Once you step through, you will no longer be confined to a single perception. You will become aware of layers beyond your own reality. The experiment is not just for science, it is for existence itself. I felt my body dissolve. Not painfully, but as if I were being unstitched from this world and rewritten into another. Every thought I had flickered into being, doors opening, bridges forming, cities spinning into alignment with my pulse. The device in my hand had melted into my skin, becoming part of me. Suddenly, I was somewhere else. Somewhere impossible. Gravity no longer pulled, time no longer ticked, and yet I felt every second stretch like eternity. I floated in a vast cathedral of light, corridors of impossible geometry twisting and folding into themselves. I could see my own consciousness reflected back at me, infinite versions of myself staring, questioning, daring me to proceed. Elon, I said, my voice barely audible in this echoing infinity. Am I awake? He smiled, a strange mixture of pride and awe. You are more than awake. You are aware. Every choice, every possibility, every reality, intersecting within you. Humanity has never experienced this. And now, neither have you. The light around me pulsed again, and I realized I could manipulate it. With a thought, I shaped a bridge of golden energy, connecting one fragment of this space to another. With another thought, I summoned visions of Earth, of cities, of people I knew, and I could observe, but not interfere. Elon, I whispered, why me? Why choose someone like me? He extended his hand, and the light responded to him in ways I couldn't comprehend. Because someone has to see beyond fear. Someone has to confront infinity without losing themselves. You were chosen not for skill or knowledge, but for curiosity and courage. The device now throbbed in my chest like a heartbeat. Every pulse synchronized with the corridors of this infinite cathedral. I realized the choice I had made was not just yes or no. It was a commitment to explore, to witness, to participate in an experiment that would rewrite reality itself. A sudden shift occurred. I saw timelines splitting like branches in a vast tree of possibility. In one, I returned to my apartment, forgetting everything. In another, I wandered endlessly, trapped in the corridors of light. In another, I existed as something beyond human comprehension. Elon, I asked, voice trembling, what happens now? He looked at me with a solemn intensity. Now, you begin. The offer is no longer mine, it is yours. Every decision you make will shape worlds. And remember, he paused, this path is irreversible. Once you step fully through, you cannot turn back. Not completely. Not ever. The corridors pulsed again. The device in my chest expanded, a starburst of energy filling every corner of my perception. And then, without warning, a door appeared before me. It was simple, wooden, almost mundane. But I knew, instinctively, that stepping through it would change everything. That I took a deep breath. The pulse of the device synchronized with my heartbeat. Reality itself waited for me, and I stepped forward. The wooden door in front of me breathed. It was impossible, yet undeniable, as though it had a life of its own. Light seeped from the cracks, warm and inviting, yet carrying a subtle hum, like a memory vibrating at the edge of perception. My hand hovered over the handle, and I could feel the pulse of the device in my chest quicken, urging me forward. Elon, I whispered, what lies beyond? He didn't answer. His form shimmered in and out, sometimes solid, sometimes fractured into patterns of light that mirrored the corridors around us. You will see soon enough, he said, his voice now echoing from everywhere at once. Everything is waiting for you. The question is whether you are ready to witness it. I inhaled the air, or what passed for air here, thick with energy. Every instinct screamed caution, yet an irresistible force propelled me forward. My fingers brushed the handle. The moment I opened the door, the cathedral of light folded in on itself, and I was pulled through a tunnel of shifting colors, sensations, and sounds that had no name, time-fractured. Moments layered atop each other, memories I didn't remember mingling with visions I had never lived. I saw myself walking down streets I had never known, speaking languages I had never learned, building devices I could not comprehend. And in the center of every fragment, a faint silhouette of Elon waited, watching, guiding. Judging, then, abruptly, I landed. The ground beneath me was solid, but unlike any floor I had ever touched. It seemed organic, pulsing with life. The horizon stretched endlessly, a landscape of impossible geometry. Towers spiraled like seashells into the sky, rivers flowed uphill, and the sky itself was alive, swirling with luminous clouds that reacted to my gaze. I realized I was not merely observing, I could influence this world. Thoughts shaped reality, and reality reflected my consciousness back at me. Elon, I called, and he appeared beside me instantly, more substantial now, more human. This is incredible. What is this place? This is Layer 1, he said, gesturing to the impossibly vast landscape. You stepped through the door and left Layer 0. Here, the rules of your old reality no longer apply. Here, you can build, explore, even destroy, but every action has consequences. You are both observer and participant. Your choices ripple outward. A hum began to resonate from the ground, syncing with the pulse of the device in my chest. I knelt and touched it. Energy coursed into my veins. I could feel the very structure of this world responding to me, bending subtly, waiting for me to take the first action. First task, Elon said, voice steady, eyes alight with intensity. You must navigate the meridian of possibilities. It will test your perception, your judgment, and your resolve. Fail, and you will be returned to the beginning. Succeed, and you will understand why you were chosen. I looked down at the path ahead. A bridge of translucent light stretched into the distance, twisting impossibly, folding back on itself, and vanishing into layers of reality I could not yet comprehend. Figures moved along it, sometimes shadows of myself, sometimes impossible creatures formed from pure thought. Am I alone? I asked. You are never alone, Elon said. But no one can accompany you. Not in the way you understand companionship. Only you can walk this path. I hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing down. The device pulsed in my chest, and I realized it was more than a tool, it was a lifeline. A tether between this new reality and the world I had left behind. Then, without further warning, the bridge shifted. It extended, narrowed, and finally curled into a spiral, leading me forward. My first step was hesitant. The second carried confidence. By the third, I realized I was moving not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, through layers of perception I had never known. Shadows along the bridge whispered, echoes of my own doubts, fears, and memories. Each one challenged me, a reflection of what I had been, what I might become, and what I could never escape. I forced myself to focus, letting the pulse of the device guide me. Halfway along the spiral, a figure emerged. Not Elon. Not human, but something else, an avatar of possibility, its form shifting constantly, morphing from one shape to another, yet always aware of me. Its eyes, or the closest things it had to eyes, locked onto mine, and I felt the first real fear since stepping into this world. "You are not ready," it said in a chorus of voices, each one layered over the other. "You are fragile, untested, unaware." I swallowed, heart pounding. "I am ready," I said. The words felt heavier than anything I had ever spoken. The pulse of the device surged. Light flared along the bridge, and the avatar recoiled, dissolving into streams of energy. Elon's voice, calm but insistent, echoed through the world, "Well done. But this is only the beginning. The meridian tests all who enter. There will be moments when you question everything, your senses, your choices, your reality itself. Remember, hesitation is dangerous. Commitment is survival." I looked ahead. The bridge twisted further into the impossible horizon, beckoning me onward. My body felt light, my mind sharp. The device in my chest pulsed steadily, now almost like a heartbeat in sync with the universe itself, and as I stepped forward, I realized, there was no turning back.